Hello, welcome to the channel. This video is about conditionals. Let's get started. This is a new series of video and we focus on 3 and 4 different types of conditionals. Let's take a look what we're gonna cover in this series. Sentences conditionals. Introduction. We use conditional sentences to talk about the results of different actions and situations. There are 3 different conditional sentences. And conditional sentences in a structure like this, and the types of different conditionals. Zero conditional, first conditional, as well as second conditional. And by the end, there are some examples. So, how does a conditional sentence look like? There are 2 parts. One part is starting with if, and the other part could be starting with a comma, or the other part could be standalone when you put it at the beginning of a sentence. Let's take a look. How does it look like? Conditional sentences have 2 parts, an if clause plus and a main clause. If I had a dog, I'll walk him every day. The if clause can come before or after the main clause. The main clause, you can see, is have nothing to start with. And if the if clause comes first, we put a comma after, and the main clause will be follow this comma. For example, dogs get bored if you don't exercise them, and it will change to become if you don't exercise them, comma. The main clause dogs get bored. In this chapter, we focus on 3 different conditionals. Zero conditional, first conditional, as well as second conditional. And the third conditional will be followed afterwards. And the first one, zero conditional. How does it look like and why do we use zero conditional? Let's take a look. Zero conditional. We use zero conditional to talk about something 100% sure to happen, or to talk about automatic results. If dogs aren't properly trained, they are nuisance. So, the first part, if A happens, B must happen. The result is 100%. First conditional. We use first conditional to talk about likely, probably, a result that is less likely to happen, not 100% sure. First part, if A happened, if I ask my parents B, they will say blah 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 blah. Then how about second conditional? We use the second conditional to talk about imaginary situations, or could only be imaginary at this moment of time. I would be so happy if I had a dog. A, if I had a dog, is an imaginary situation. A happens, then B gonna happen, but it's only imaginary. I would be so happy. B. Then how about some other examples? Reading this example, we need to guess which conditional it's gonna apply. So let's take a look at these examples. If I had a dog, I'll walk him every day. I'll look after him myself. He'll be my dog. If I ask my parents, they will say no. If dogs aren't properly trained, they are nuisance. Dogs get bored if you don't exercise them. If we got a dog, we'll have build a fence around the garden. A fridge smells lusty when there's dog's food in it. Are you sure you're ready for this, Alex? Would it be okay if we got you a goldfish instead? If they don't let me have a dog, I'll get one anyway. I'll be so happy if I had a dog. If they were animals lovers, they would understand. Last time we talked about the introductions of conditionals. There are 4 conditionals that gonna cover. The zero conditional, the first conditional, the second conditional, plus the third conditional. Today, we talk about the zero conditional as well as the first conditionals. Let's take a look. First of all, we talk about the zero conditional. And then we are going to talk about the first conditional. About the zero conditional, how to form it, and what's the hints. For the first conditional, we talk about how to form a first conditional, what tenses that we're gonna use in the if clause. And for less certain situations, what module verbs should we use? And there is some suggestion or a situation being possible, then how could arrange it? And the common mistakes and some other hints. Conditional is simply talking about chances, how likely something's gonna happen. There are two main parts in conditionals. The first part is A, and the second part is B. So the chances we are talking about is, if A happens, how much chance that B gonna happen. Zero conditional is talking about if A happens, B happens is for sure, is almost 100%. And for the first conditional, if A happens, the chance that B gonna happen is vary from 10% or to 90%. Let's take a look into details how to arrange it. The first is the zero conditional. The zero conditional. We use the zero conditional to talk about automatic results. We use it to talk about general truths and facts. For example, I get bored if I have nothing to do. So A happens if I have nothing to do. B happens, I get bored. If you mix blue and yellow, you get green. So A happens, 100% B going to happen. So mix blue and yellow. B, you get green. Then how to form a zero conditional sentence? Let's take a look. In zero conditional sentences, the verb use will be in simple present tense for both the A part and the B part. A part, we call it if clause. B part, we call it the main clause. There is a comma if A part start first. The if clause start first, put a comma in the middle, like this. Both sides will be using simple present. A part, if A happen, if there's a dog food in a fridge. B part, it smells nasty. So what are the hints we can use when we are forming a zero conditional sentence? We can change the if in the zero conditional to when. I get bored when I have nothing to do. The word when used to replace the if. When you mix blue and yellow, you get green. Rather straightforward. Now, let's go to the first conditional. The first conditional. We talk about something likely to happen. It could be very likely, or it could be less likely. For something that is very likely to happen, we will use will for the B part. If she goes out in the rain without an umbrella, she will get wet. The chance for she getting wet is very likely. If I don't give my dog these pills, he won't get better. The chance of B happen that A going to happen is very likely. Okay, I don't give my dog these pills, he won't get better. Then how to form the first conditional sentence? Let's take a look. First part, present tense. Second part, bad infinitive. If I give my dog some bone, he will bury it. There's another tenses that we can use to replace the present tense in part A. So, what tenses can we use? We can use continuous tense at the part A. At part A, to talk about things happening right now or for future arrangement, which means continuous tense and future tense. For example, if Sally is waiting for me to say yes, she will have to wait a long time. If you are going to the dog show on Sunday, I'll come to you. Both of these are either happening or will happen, but we never use will plus a bad infinitive in part A. Then how about using conditionals for less certain situations? Let's take a look. Less certain situations, if a result is less certain, we can use may or might instead of will. The module verb may or might. In the main clause, that means part B. If Terry isn't go to school today, you may have to write a note to his teacher. May have. For less certain situations, we use might. For 50 and 50, we use may. Then how about a suggestions? Let's take a look. We can use the module verb can instead of will to make suggestions or to say that something is possible in a particular situations. For example, we can go to a restaurant for supper if Mary doesn't want to cook. Okay, this is a very particular situation, so we choose to use the word can for the part B, the second part, the main clause. Or if Larry isn't coming to the party, we can take Mike's call. There are some hints and there are some common mistakes that a lot of students could make, or this is something that is helpful for using first conditionals. Let's take a look. What are they? Common mistakes. We never use the module verb will for the first part, part A, if clause. Instead, we could use continuous tense for the part A when we are talking about something happening or for future arrangement. Instead of saying if you will come with me, we say if you come with me, or if you are coming with me, I will definitely go. And also, there's some hints that you could find useful. Instead of using the connective word if, we can also choose to use and or the word or, especially in recommendations and warnings. Example, give your dog a bone and he will bury it. Or give me the money, or I will shoot. So these first one, and using to replace the connective word if for giving recommendations. Give me the money, or I will shoot. This is giving warnings. Last time we talked about the zero conditionals as well as the first conditionals. Today we talk about the second conditionals. When we are using the second conditionals and imaginary situations of A happens, then B will gonna happen now. That's the main difference between the second conditionals as well as the third conditionals, because the third conditional is simply talking about the result of B happened in the past, if that situation of A happens. So, what area is it going to cover today? Let's take a look. The second conditionals. What situation we use the second conditionals? How to form a second conditional sentence? How to apply a less certain situations? When we are talking about ability, as well as some hints. So, the number one, what situations should we use the second conditionals? For the second conditionals, an imaginary situation A happens, then B will happen today or right now. Let's take a look at the situations in details. We use the second conditional to talk about the result of imaginary or unlikely situations in A. Imaginary situations. Your dog said meow. Then B would happen. You would be very surprised. Imaginary situations if Alex got a dog. B. He would be extremely happy. Then how do we form a second conditional sentence? Let's take a look. For the part A, we simply use simple past. If I gave my girl a dog. The second part, part B, we use would plus the bad infinitive. She would be so happy. What should we do if we are talking about a situation that is less certain? I mean, part B. less certain that part B gonna happen, even the imaginary situations of A happen. Let's take a look. As similar to the first conditional, we use the modal verb might instead of would in the main clause. That means part B, when the situations that is less certain to happen in part B. If I trained my dog really well, this is an imaginary situation of A. He might be famous. That's less certain that B gonna happen, so we use might be famous. Then how do we use the second conditionals to talk about ability and permissions? Let's take a look. If my dog had 2 tails, he could wake twice as hard. We use the modal verb could plus a bad infinitive to talk about ability and or permissions. If Alex were older, he could decide for himself a permissions, so he could decide. There are some hints when we are using the second conditionals for part A. Let's take a look. The verb to be in part A we'll use in plural form. So even for singular nouns or pronouns, we still use were instead of was. For example, if I were rich, I would buy a great dog. Even the singular nouns or pronouns I, we still use were instead of was. However, in an informal situations in English, it's common simply to say if I was rich. Today we're gonna talk about the third conditional. What's the main difference between the third conditional as well as the second conditional? Both of them are talking about an imagination situations of A, but the main difference is the second conditional is talking about a different result now, and the third conditional is using for a different result in the past. And today we're gonna cover another different usage of the third conditional as well as some other hints. Let's take a look. The third conditional, we were gonna talk about the imaginary situations in the past of part A, and also different usage of the third conditional possible to happen in the past, a different result in the past, being regret, as well as some other hints, and how to form a third conditional sentence. It's really common for native speaker to use the third conditionals in everyday life. The very important message that the third conditional carry is that part A is an imaginary situations, and part B is actually could be a different result happened in the past, or that is some other situation that could happen in part B. Let's take a look. The third conditional we used to talk about imaginary situation in the past of A. When use it to talk about how the past event might have been different in part B. If you hadn't been at a party, part B, I would have had a better time. The formation of the third conditional is quite straightforward. It's divided also two parts, about part A as well as part B. When we form the third conditional, we use the past perfect tense in the if clause or the part A, and we use would have plus a past participle in the main clause, which is part B. Example, I wouldn't have been late. This is part B. And part A, if you had given me the right address. Or part A, if you had been listening. Part B, you would have noticed I was trying to cover up for you. Other than the connection word if, actually, to use the third conditionals, we could use some other connections. Let's take a look what other connectives we could apply. We can use connectives like with, without, but for, to form conditional sentences. While the verb wish is used to express regret or talk about something we would like to be different. We don't need if in these sentences. For example, I wish you hadn't been here. And also, we use the third conditional to talk about past situations that might have been different in some way. And also, we use the third conditional to something that possible to happen in the past. To talk about things which might have happened but didn't happen, we use the third conditional. If you had listened to me, you would have had the right address. Then how about the other situation? A different result in the past. Let's take a look. For a different result in the past, we talk about something which did happen, but might not have happened. For example, if I had not had a good education, I would not have got this job. So you did have a good education, otherwise, you would not have got this job. We also use the third conditional to express a feeling of regret. And how to do this? Let's take a look. Express regret about something that had happened or didn't happen in the past. We could use in this way. Part A, if I had known it was your birthday. Part B, I would have sent you a card. Sometimes people could even mix the usage of the second conditionals plus the third conditional together. Let's take a look. If I hadn't had a good education, I wouldn't be so rich. So we could mix up with part A using the third conditional, hadn't had, and the part B using the second conditionals, just the modal verb would plus a bad infinitive. Then how to form a third conditional sentence? Let's take a look. First part, the part A, we use past perfect tense. The second part, part B, we use would have plus a past participle. Part A, if I had had a map. Part B, they would have found a house. The word would could be simply using the short form apostrophe D. If I had known, I would have stayed at school. Remember, if we're starting the A part first, there will be a comma between part A and part B. The same as the other conditionals. If we start with part B, we don't have any comma. Instead, we connect two sentences or two parts with the word if. How about asking a question with the third conditionals? Let's take a look. When we ask questions in the third conditional, the subject would change places in the main clause, that means part B. We don't need to change the word order in the if clause. Let's take a look. If you had known where it was, would you have come to the party? Today, we're gonna cover using conditional with continuous form, as well as conditional with the word wish without if in the clause. Let's take a look what we're gonna cover. Using continuous form with third conditional, as well as conditional sentences without if, but with the word wish, and gonna cover a different usage of using wish. So, what situation we could use continuous form in a conditional sentence? Usually, it will be applied when the action is continuous. Let's take a look. We can use the continuous form ing form to talk about ongoing actions. We can use in either the if clause, that means part A, or the part B, the main clause, or both. For example, the first one, if you had been playing, we would have scored more goals. ing form used in part A. That means this one will be continuous going. The second one, if we had an overlap, I would have been playing. The ing form used in part B would have been playing. Or even both of them. Example, if I hadn't still been sleeping, I would have been playing. The ing form are used in both parts. Then how about another very interesting topic using the word wish in conditional sentences? How many situations we could apply the word wish? Let's take a look. conditional sentences without if, but with the word wish, we could use to talk about we would like to be different, and we use wish to talk about the present, and we use the word wish plus past perfect tense or could have plus a past participle to talk about a past regret. And also we could follow by a second sentence with a module verb. They function as like if clause that in part A in a conditional sentence. Then the first one, using wish to talk about something that we would like to be different in the present time. Let's take a look. We use wish to talk about things we would like to be different, and use wish to talk about the present different. Then it's always followed by the verb in the past tense in part B. For example, I wish what? I had more time to do sports. Equivalent to I don't have much time to do sports right now. I'd like to have more time. Then how about a past regret? How could we use the word wish to do that? Let's take a look. We can use wish followed by the past perfect tense or could have plus a past participle to talk about a past regret. For example, I wish I had remembered your birthday. Or, it was a great party. I wish you could have come. Either use a past perfect tense or use could have plus come. Then how about use the wish sentence to function as a part A? Let's take a look. The wish sentence are often followed by another sentence with a module verb. Then the wish sentence will function like the if clause in a conditional sentence. Let's take a look. I wish I hadn't broken my Blu-ray player. Then we could have watched The Hobbit 2. So the sentence is very much like the first part A, in the conditional sentence of here. If I hadn't broken my Blu-ray player, I wish I hadn't broken. And the part B, we could have watched Hobbit 2. Or the second example, I wish I had remembered your birthday, is equivalent to the part A. If I had remembered your birthday, I would have sent you a card. This is part B. I would have sent you a card. That is some common errors that people could make, especially using the module verb would have. Take a look how to avoid these common errors. We cannot use wish plus would have. We must always use could have or past perfect tense to talk about the past. Example, I wish I hadn't done that. Never say I wish I wouldn't have done that. Also, we could use the phrase if only to replace the word wish. Let's take a look how to do that. We can use the expressions if only instead of wish in the sentence, like this. I wish I would have listened to you. Become if only I listened to you. This time, we talk about the rest of the conditionals. The prepositions that could replace part A, and a situation that is accidentally happens, then we use conditionals to refer to the possibility of part B. And also some other miscellaneous things for zero conditionals and the other hints. Let's take a look. The first one, using with, without, but for to replace part A. Real conditionals or some combinations for zero conditionals. For a situation that might happen by chance or by accidents, as well as the mixed conditionals. Conditionals in speaking. How to use prepositions like with, without, and but for to replace part A in conditionals. Let's take a look. We use the connectives with, without, but, for to form conditional sentences. And it's actually using in part A without if clause that always followed by nouns, because to form a prepositional phrase. For example, with a bit of luck, we would have won the competitions. If we are using conditional sentence, it will be if we had a bit of luck, we will have won the competitions. Without positive action now, our planet would be destroyed, could be destroyed within our lifetime. So replace if we don't take positive action now. But for Mary's quick thinking, replace if Mary had thought quickly. That's quite straightforward. Then how about real conditionals? Actually, it is exactly the zero conditionals, but now we illustrate more combination of different time frame. Let's take a look. Real conditional is used when we are talking or refers to things that are true, that have happened, or are very likely to happen. There are many different combinations included: present simple plus present simple in part A and part B, present continuous and present simple, present continuous plus present continuous, past simple and past simple, past simple plus past continuous. First of all, real conditional is talking about something that is true and that is have happened or very likely to happen. Example, if you park here, they climb your wheels. It is always true that they climb your wheels if every time you park here. Or if I can't sleep, I listen to the radio. It's often true that I can't sleep, so I listen to the radio. Quite straightforward for present simple and plus present simple. We illustrate this when we are talking about zero conditionals. Every time this happens, this is what we do. If the weather is fine, we eat outside on the terrace. Continuous is everything these happen, this is what we do. If the kids are enjoying themselves, we just let them go on playing till they are ready for bed. Continuous tense plus continuous tense in part A and B will be also similar. The economy is growing by 6%, then it is growing too fast. If it is true that the economy is growing by 6%, it is true that it is growing too fast. But what we haven't talked about is using past simple in both A and B. What situation could we use it? Every time that happened in past, that is what we did. If my father had a day off, we always went to see my granddad. So this is actually something happened before, and this is always true in the past. And past continuous in part B will be something similar. Calvin always came in to say hello if we was going past our house. So every time he was going past our house, that is what he did. Then how about to describe something that happened in chance or happened accidentally? Let's take a look which conditional and which modal verb we could employ. If we use should, we can use the modal verb should to refer events that might happen by chance or by accident. If you should bump into Carol, accidentally you meet her, can you tell her I'm looking for her? Okay, by chance you bump into Carol, by chance you see her. If the government should ever find itself in this situation again, accidentally or by chance the government find itself going to these situations again, it is to be hoped it could act more quickly. So, what situation? We could use mixed conditionals. Let's take a look. Often, things that did or did not happen in the past have results which continue or are still important at the present, then we will use mixed conditionals. We can emphasize by using if with the past perfect verb. So which is talking about part A using past perfect and part B using just simply would. If I hadn't met Charles, I wouldn't be here now. So the first one, I met Charles, so I'm here now. She wouldn't still be working for us if we hadn't given her a pay rise. We gave her a pay rise, so she is still working for us now. Then the last part about conditionals in speaking. Let's take a look what points we should be aware. In speaking, we often use if clause without main clause, which means just simply part A without part B. Especially when we asking people politely to do things. The word if is usually followed by will, would, can, could, which we have talked about in the first conditional when it is used to be polite. For example, a shop assistant to customer. Okay, if you would just sign here, please. A more polite way to saying just sign here. Or when A is writing something for B and having difficulty, if I could have a better pen, oh here, use this one. Thanks. Very nice. Finally, we finished the conditionals. And that's all for this series. Like this video and subscribe our channel. See you next time. Goodbye.